Hi guys, Lisa here, getting ready for Mobility Lab, starting a couple minutes early today because I want to invite you guys to collect some props this morning. So let's see. So maybe grab a couple of cushions off the couch, just normal throw cushions off of your couch. Those are going to be really helpful for our yin practice this morning. Maybe a firmer pillow, one that's got a little bit more support to it, and maybe a little longer too. Something that's like this shape is really helpful in supporting some of the postures we're going to be doing today in our yin sequence. If you have a yoga block, definitely grab that. If you don't, that's okay. We'll find other things to support us. Maybe a thick book or two, or an ab mat if you borrowed one from the gym. Another thing that is often really helpful is just any old blanket, like a throw blanket, and folding it into quarters, into a quarter fold, and then maybe even considering rolling it into a kind of small bolster. And of course, the thicker the blanket, the thicker the bolster you're going to get. So as we get ready to begin, just see if you can collect some different methods of supporting yourself in your yin practice this morning. So again, cushions off the couch, maybe a thicker cushion, more supportive, yoga block if you have it, a blanket that you could then roll up, and I just unrolled it. I'm going to roll it again. Roll up into a little bolster. As much as we can support holding postures for longer, the more benefit we can get out of those postures. So let's get creative. We don't have everything that we normally are used to having, and so now's the opportunity to look for things that might work as good substitutes. So take a minute, grab what you need, and we'll begin here in just a couple minutes. I'm going to use my meditation cushion, which is just like a fat buckwheat pillow. And again, as we sit in meditation, in the first 10 minutes or so of our class today, I think it's really helpful for me to have a little bit of height under my sits bones. And I've been saying this the last couple of weeks, but that supports an upright spine as you sit in meditation. It also helps support a lumbar curve. So especially if you've got really tight hamstrings or tightness in your low back, getting a little height under the sits bones is a great way to support yourself there. Hi guys, just checking in. So we'll begin in about a minute or two. So just take another few seconds, grab what you need. Blanket, pillows, blocks. And I don't know if you hear that popping. That is my ceiling popping in the background. I don't know what to do about it. Nothing to be done. It just is there. So I apologize for that noise interference. So let's begin. I'll just start talking and others can join as I'm talking. So it's a new month and we have a new theme. This month our theme is open. We're going to define the concept of open by the act or the attitude of allowing. So our meditation practices this month will be designed to enhance our receptiveness to insight, creative inspiration, and going beyond the intellect. So this will require, and this is really important, this will require letting go of control. And I know that we're all kind of experiencing varying degrees of wanting to control what feels very out of our control right now. But what if just for today, as we sit together, if we just decided to let go of all effort to control what's happening around us, to control what's happening in our minds, to control what's happening in our bodies, and just be present with whatever it is. And that's not always going to feel good. So this practice of meditation is just that. It's an opportunity to practice those things that we're trying to cultivate. So the willingness to let go of control being one of those things. Also trusting yourself. This is another aspect of this attitude of open or allowing, being willing and able to even just for today, to just trust that everything is going to be okay, to trust that you know the next right thing to do, that will emerge from moment to moment if we sit with awareness of everything that's going on, instead of resisting, instead of trying to control. So one of the central practices around this attitude of open or allowing is the practice of mental noting. So learning how to distinguish between thoughts and emotions and body sensations, and how they act on each other, how they influence each other, and how they influence our behaviors. So cultivating the ability to notice the difference between those things, but also noticing when our perception, whether it's the thought perception or emotional perception or body perception, gets distorted. So asking ourselves, what am I thinking? What stories are playing in my head? And this gets into those thoughts. What emotions am I feeling? And what are the sensations in my body? What is the felt sense of my body in this moment? So really what we're doing when we're practicing mental noting is we're practicing slowing down our reactions. Thinking back to that brilliant Viktor Frankl quote of how do we create, I'm going to misquote it, how do we create space between stimulus and response, to enough to pause and identify thoughts, identify emotions, and identify those bodily sensations long enough to make a skillful and considered response and get out of those automatic reactions. So can we check our stories? Is there another story that could be true about what's happening right now? Another story in which maybe I'm not being personally threatened, or my family is not being threatened, or I'm not being punished or caused to suffer in some way. And can I notice when these stories begin? Can I focus instead on the raw data, that input, and continue to return my awareness in the moment? So moment to moment awareness until I arrive at a response that resonates with who I am and what my ultimate goals are for myself. So I put this quote on Facebook. I don't know if you guys saw it. You probably did if you're joining me on Facebook Live. But a quote from Lao Tzu in the Tao Te Ching. Do you have the patience to wait until your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving until the right action presents itself? So again, getting into this idea that if we sit with everything that is present for us, then what will emerge from just being willing to be present with it is the ability to intuit and to feel and to understand what our next course of action should be. So along with this line of self-inquiry, I'd also like to bring up the idea of negativity bias. So negativity bias is a well-researched human tendency to register negative events more readily than positive events and to dwell on them. So we remember traumatic experiences with more detail and precision than happy ones very often. We react more strongly to negative stimuli than to positive ones, like bad news or insults, politics, CDC data that's coming out right now. And we tend to think about negative things more frequently, with more frequency than positive things. So we're inundated with all of this negative stimuli right now. And it's a natural reaction to be drawn to consume more and more and more of that negativity, and even to ruminate on it. And I mean, if you're out of work right now, you have more time on your hands, and this is time in which you can very easily descend into worry or stress, stories of worst case scenario. And even if you're working from home, you might be struggling with unrealistic expectations of what you can actually achieve, of productivity and focus, pushing yourself to maintain the same level of performance that you would under normal circumstances. But as we collectively move into this place of acceptance, I would like to suggest that this global pandemic is not going anywhere anytime soon, and that we'll likely be isolated from each other for an extended period of time, however long that might be. I will invite you to ask yourself, what am I missing when I'm hyper-focused on the negativity that surrounds me, on the danger and the uncertainty, the threats and the self-criticism? What do we miss when our automatic response is to focus on what's negative and what's dangerous, the stories and the scenarios that ensue from those ideas? And conversely, how can I create the conditions in my own day-to-day experience for more joy and more surrender, more laughter even? How do I show up for the things and the people that I love in this moment? And so today, our meditation practice will be one of open awareness, paying attention to all that is present for you right now, the good, the bad, the ugly, noting its presence as a means to become more skillful in our response to those stimuli. Perhaps put more weight on the positive things that are present for us, and to interrupt those automatic tendencies to fixate on the negative. So let's go ahead and find our seat. So if you have a cushion or a block or a rolled up blanket to sit on, give yourself a little bit of height underneath your sits bones. If you rolled your blanket, maybe give that a try underneath your sits bones today. Or if you have a block, definitely use that. Whatever you need, whatever position you need to arrive at, provide yourself the support so that you can sit in meditation. It'll probably be a little bit shorter meditation this morning, probably in the 8 to 10 minute range. So find your seat. And allow the eyes to close once you've found your seat. And to begin, take a big breath into the belly. In fact, place your hand right over your belly button and send the breath into your hand. Inhale deeply. Fill up the belly. Allow the breath to rise and fill up the chest. Take one more sip. And exhale, open the mouth, let it go. Let's do 2 more breaths just like that. Inhale into the belly, deeply, slowly. And exhale, open the mouth, release the breath. One more inhale, fill up. Biggest breath of the morning. And exhale, let it go. And now we'll let go of controlling the breath. And take note of your posture. Can you sit up a little bit taller? And you relax the shoulders away from the ears. Bringing awareness to your seat. To all the ways that you are supported in this posture, in this moment. And then become aware of the body as a whole. sensations that are arising generally. Becoming aware of your upright seat, of your arms resting on your knees, of the stillness that is beginning to settle. And now bring your attention to the specific sensations of the body. Sensations of the toes, the ankles, the legs, the hips, the belly, the chest, the arms and the shoulders, the neck, the face, the head, and even the ears, the tip of your nose. Getting specific about our awareness of the sensations of the body. Now I invite you to direct your awareness to the breath without trying to change it or regulate it. Just allowing the breath to take care of itself. Noting its qualities. And just allow your experience of this moment to be exactly as it is. Exactly as it is. No need to change anything. No need to do anything. And now notice your thoughts. Notice any stories that are being told. Whether it's a conversation you had last night with your significant other, or your kids bickering, or thinking about work or bills that need to be paid. Just notice those stories that are happening. No need to finish those stories. Notice that they're there. And then allow them to pass by, like clouds drifting across the sky of your mind. And now notice the feelings or emotions that are present for you right now. Allowing these to be exactly as they are. No need to like them, or even to name them. Just allow yourself to feel whatever it is that's present for you in this moment. Knowing that there's no different way you should be feeling. Also notice whether certain thoughts or emotions also create physical sensations. Perhaps worry and its associated storytelling creates a tightening in the chest, a furrowing of the brow, clenching of the jaw. Maybe if you're feeling particularly loved and supported right now, you feel a warmth in your belly, softening in the shoulders. Whatever it is, begin to notice the relationships between thoughts and emotions and sensations without following the stories. Just see if you can discern the difference with more subtle granularity between thoughts and emotions and the felt sense of the body. And again, without trying to control or direct these, just notice. Just be present with whatever arises. Maybe even becoming curious about how these things operate within you, within each moment, exactly as it is. Take another deep breath into the belly now. And exhale, release the breath through the mouth. Another inhale, this time shrug the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, release the shoulders down and back. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, shrug the shoulders up. Exhale, release the shoulders down and back. Now if you're sitting on a meditation cushion, definitely remove that. If you're just sitting on a block or a rolled up blanket, you can leave that underneath your sits bones. In fact, I'm going to take my blanket underneath my sits bones now. And gently blink your eyes open if you haven't already. We're going to move into our yin sequence, beginning with our butterfly position. So take the soles of your feet together and allow the knees to fall out. So maybe your knees fall down, maybe your knees are up high. Whatever shape you're in, allow it to be exactly as it is today. And now either grabbing your ankles, grabbing the arches of your feet, or wrapping the fingertips around the front of the toes. Inhale to lengthen the spine, and then exhale to just gently fold forward. And as always with our yin practice, pause where you begin to feel sensation. We're not forcing our way in here. This is a passive practice. We find our shape, note the sensation that arises, and then we just commit to stillness. And there's no just about that. We try, we endeavor to commit to stillness. And softening the face, softening the breath. We turn to the side. See a different angle of this shape if you need it. So as we sit in our shapes, directing the breath towards sensation. Noticing how the breath may affect sensation. And I also invite you to note when that sensation turns into story. the story might be one of self-criticism, of those shoulds that we get caught up in so often. I should be able to go deeper into this fold, or I should be more flexible. Let that go. Allow your shape, allow your breath, allow your thoughts to be exactly as they are. One more minute here in this fold. Stay present with it. Expansive inhale, softening exhale. Awareness of the breath, awareness of sensation, awareness of the workings of the mind. And take a deep inhale. And on the exhale, slowly rise back up to an upright seat. And we're going to now extend the legs forward. So once again, if you've got really tight hamstrings, definitely try and take just a little something, even if it's just a rolled up blanket like this underneath your sits bones. Lengthen upward. And then on an exhale, just fold forward. Just a gentle forward fold, legs outstretched in front of you. This is our caterpillar fold. So your hamstrings might feel a little bit tight. We did a lot of squats this week. Mine are feeling a little tight this morning. So if you have a block or a pillow, just find yourself some support for your head as you rest forward. It might take a little bit of experimentation. Just be comfortable. As comfortable as you can be with sensation happening in your body. Doing what you can to create a more passive response in the body. And just breathe. We'll be holding this forward fold for 2 more minutes. Soften the jaw, soften the forehead, soften the tongue. And keep breathing. 1 more minute here. What's the story reel? What's happening in your mind? Notice those stories that are coming up. follow them to their conclusion. And just notice. A few more seconds here. Deep breath in, fill up. And on the exhale, slowly walk the hands back up the legs, coming back to an upright seat. Next, we're going to be moving into a supported Matsyendrasana or fish pose. So this is where we're going to have to get a little creative with support. So if you have a yoga block, that's the best thing to use. You can place it so that the long side of the yoga block is parallel with the mat. And then grab a couple pillows and place those above the block. If you have a blanket, maybe you're using that as well, creating yourself a little tower of support. So this is where we're going with it. So you want the block to hit you right in the middle of your spine. So right between the shoulder blades, a little bit lower. So this is a heart opening posture. And maybe the knees are slightly bent with the soles of the feet on the mat, or maybe they're extended. Either way, it's okay. So also make sure you've got a little bit of support for your head. The head can fall a little bit lower than the chest. And make sure you've got space to allow the arms to fall alongside you, face up. So find your shape. You know, this is one that we haven't really done before. Matsyendrasana. The goal is to get some height, some support underneath the middle of the spine so that it creates this big chest opening. So find your shape and find your support and find some stillness. Hold this shape for one more minute. Sending big, expansive breaths into the chest, into the heart space. Creating more space there. And then softening on the exhale. Tongue go. Let it fall down from the roof of the mouth. Release the jaw. You need to hold it. And take a big expansive inhale into the chest. Exhale, soften. Bottom of that exhale, just gently roll off of your support onto your side. And then just moving the pillows out of the way. If you've got your block or your fat book, stack of books even, going to be taking it with us because we'll be using it in this next posture as well. So coming to lie on your back, with the soles of the feet on the mat. We're going to be moving into a supported bridge posture. So normally an active bridge is one where we place our palms on the earth and we lift our hips to the sky. So if you've got a block, that's the ideal option here, but if you've got a stack of books or a firm pillow, you can lift up and just place that support right underneath your sacrum, right at the low back. And then allow the arms to fall to the sides. You can keep the soles of the feet on the mat like this, or you can extend your bridge to get a little more opening through the front sides of the hips, lengthening those hip flexors. So just make whatever adjustments you need to find the supported bridge, supported hip opener. Again, find your support, find your shape, and then surrender into some stillness. And maybe this is a stack of pillows under your hips. Whatever it is, we're finding some height for the hips while the rest of the body relaxes downward. And just breathe. A couple more minutes here. On the inhale, softening on the exhale. Staying with awareness of the sensations of the body and allowing them to be just as they are. Whether this feels great to you or whether this feels pretty uncomfortable, just allow this to be, knowing that this is temporary. One more minute. Remembering that acceptance of the current condition is a prerequisite for change. Let go of trying. Let go of controlling. Big expansive breath into the hips. And exhale. If you've got your legs extended, take the soles of the feet back to the mat. On an inhale, lift the hips. Remove the block or whatever support you have underneath your hips. And then set that block off to the side or your support off to the side. With the soles of the feet about mat's distance apart. And just begin to windshield wiper the knees from one side to the other. And perhaps moving with the breath here. So inhaling to allow the knees to rise. Exhaling, allow them to fall to one side. And slow down the movement. Inhaling to rise. Exhaling to descend. Just take a couple more rounds with the breath. Exhaling to descend the knees. Inhaling to lift them. Exhaling to let them descend. And on your next exhale, just rolling to one side and using your hand to push your way up. Coming to face the side of your mat. And take the soles of your feet a little wider than hips distance. And take the hands to the mat. And And again, we're gonna just windshield wiper the legs side to side. So inhale up and exhale, descend. Inhale up, exhale, descend. One more time. This time as the knees fall to the right, allow them to stay there. So the right leg is bent in front of you, the left leg is bent behind you. And so now we're gonna find a pillow. Maybe this time we find a firmer pillow or we stack one on top of the other. Place it right at your right hip. And then from this deer position with the right leg bent forward and the left leg bent back, we're gonna turn to our right and just bow over the pillows. And you can turn your face to the left or to the right. If you turn your face to the right, you'll get more of a twist. To the left will be slightly less of a twist. I'm finding this deer twist. Find your support, find your shape, and then find some stillness. Breathe. Continuing to hold the shape, allowing the breath to breathe itself, allowing the sensations of the body to be just as they are. Take a big, expansive inhale. And on the exhale, slowly rise up. And then coming out of the twist. Bringing the soles of the feet back to the mat in front of you. Move that pillow to the opposite side. Or maybe it's your stack of pillows to the opposite side. And now we're going to take the opposite position. So the left leg, the left shin will be bent forward this time. The right shin will be bent backwards. So moving into deer on the second side. Inhale to lengthen the spine first. And then exhale to turn to the left. And then walking the hands down, bowing and resting over your pillow. And once again, if your head is facing your knees, so facing to the right now, it'll be more of a closed twist. If you turn your head to face the left, it's more of an open twist. A deeper twist. Seconds here. Continuing to take big, expansive inhales, slow, softening exhales. Take a big breath in. And on the exhale, slowly rise up, coming out of the twist. Maybe setting your pillow off to the side. And then pressing into the earth, come to sit on your knees. We're going to be moving into a supported saddle position. So I'm going to turn to my left so you can see what this looks like. So the ultimate goal is to get your sits bones in between your heels. And if they touch the mat, great, you can sit like that. If your sits bones are not quite getting there, if your knees are not allowing that to happen, that's okay. Let's get some support under the sits bones. So maybe that's a block, or maybe that's a pillow or a rolled blanket. Whatever it is that can support you here, take. And then grab some pillows. Place some pillows behind you. And maybe you're making a stack of pillows here. Or some kind of support. In Mobility Lab class, when we're at the gym, we normally will use med balls to lean back on. Today we're just stacking up other stuff to lean back on. So once you're in your saddle, knees are bent. You can stay here if this is already enough sensation, that's perfectly fine. You get the same benefit as leaning back and deepening. Or if you're ready to lean back and deepen today, you can make that happen. Maybe you find you don't have enough pillows. Grab more pillows. Stack those up. Don't be afraid to take the support that you need. I'm going to move slightly forward. And relax back. So we're going to pause here for another minute or two. Maybe you've got intense sensation in your knees. Learning the difference between discomfort and pain here is really important. If you're feeling pain, definitely soften this position for yourself, whether that's getting more height or not leaning backwards. If you're just feeling some discomfort, maybe you can sit with it. Maybe you can become curious about it. And maybe the longer you sit with it and the more curious you become, just maybe that'll take the edge off. Maybe it'll begin to soften. Maybe it'll begin to release. Maybe you can trust what it has to teach you today. So one more minute here. Deep breaths. Big deep inhale, and on an exhale gently rise back up. Take a minute to notice the sensations. Maybe it feels really good to rise back up. Remove some of those pillows, and just as a moment of transition, let's rise up to our knees, and then take the knees right underneath the hips and place the palms of the hands right in your back pocket, so right on your glutes, and lift the heart, lift the gaze, allow the head to fall back. Brief little camel pose, opening the heart, opening the chest. And then on the exhale, release. Take any support away now, removing your blanket, removing your pillows, removing your blocks, and then taking the knees as wide as the mat. Let the sits bones descend towards the heels, hands reach forward, forehead rest down on the mat or a block. Find your child's pose. Child's pose is really hard on your knees. Make a suggestion that maybe you take a rolled up blanket and put it on top of your heels so that you can get a little bit more support and height under your sits bones. So surrender into your child's pose. Feeling the gentle pressure of the mat against the middle of your forehead. The lengthening of the arms, the opening of the shoulders. And just breathe here for one more minute. Slide the hands underneath the shoulders, rise up, find your tabletop position, shift the knees so that they're right under the hips. If you've got a rolled up blanket on your heels, remove that. Just find your tabletop. And just for a few breaths, we're going to take some cat-cow. So inhale, we'll lift the gaze, chin comes parallel with the earth, sits bones lift and the belly softens. And then exhale, press through the earth. Curl the spine upwards, looking down at your navel. Inhale, lift. Soft belly, lifted sits bones. Exhale, navel to spine. Press through the earth. Inhale to cow. And exhale to cat. This time on the inhale, find your neutral spine. And then begin to walk the hands out in front, moving into puppy dog pose or Anahatasana, heart melting pose. Forehead can rest down on the mat. Arms extended out in front of you. If you'd like to deepen this as a shoulder opener, you can come to elbows. Place hands in prayer and bring the hands above the head as the forehead rests down. Just as a slightly different variation of puppy dog. And keep breathing here for one more minute. Let go of the feet. Let go of the legs. Soften the belly. Breathing length into the spine. Breathing opening to the chest and shoulders. Inhale deeply. And on the exhale, lower the forearms to the mat. And lower the hips down as well. So moving, we've been doing this posture fairly frequently lately. Moving to Sphinxasana, so elbows right underneath shoulders, palms facing down. Spine stays lifted with the chin slightly below parallel so that we have a neutral spine. The gaze is about 18 inches beyond the fingertips, or you can close the eyes. This is a gentle back bend. Maybe wiggle the hips side to side. Let go of the urge to squeeze your butt. Let go of the legs. Release anything that's not necessary here. One more minute. Keeping lifted, shoulders are dropping, so we're not collapsing through the spine, we're staying lifted. Everything else becomes passive. Soften the jaw, the face, the eyeballs. Taking a breath into belly, into low back, expanding on the inhale, softening on the exhale. One big inhale. And exhale, release down, stack the palms, rest the forehead on the stacked palms. Let everything go. On your next inhale, slowly rise up once again. We're going to do one more back bend. So taking the hands as wide as the mat, creating a bit of a tripod with your upper body. So palms of the hands flat on the mat, about 45-degree angles, and then tripoding that upper body. So this is a little bit of a deeper back bend. This posture called seal. So once again, neutralize the spine. Allow the chin to just be slightly lower than parallel. Find your point of focus or allow the eyes to close. Stay lifted through the spine, shoulders drop, using just enough effort to maintain the shape and letting everything else go. Holding here just for 1 minute more. A lot of spine work today, working on spinal health, heart opening. breaths here. More seconds. Big deep breath in. And exhale, release down. And let's right away roll onto our back. And again, if you have that block handy, we're going to use it one more time, possibly. So we have a few options for this next posture. We've been doing some back bending, so now we're going to do a few counter poses to balance that out. So we're going to either be doing supported shoulder stand, which looks a little bit like this. If you have your block or if you have a firm pillow, take your feet to the sky. Lift up so that your block is supporting you right underneath your sacrum. And then just extend the feet up. Palms of the hands can rest down on the mat. So this is one option for a supported shoulder stand. If this option doesn't work for you, you can simply go to a wall or go to your couch. I'm going to go to my couch to demonstrate this. But sitting right up against the wall or your couch, and then rolling back to your back so that your sits bones are in contact with the couch or just below the couch or the wall, and then lifting the legs straight up. So taking legs up the wall. It's a very grounding, relaxing posture. And a third option, if you really want to create some traction in the spine to counterbalance those back bends we've been doing, is to move into snail. So, or plow. I guess we've got two more options. So I'll show you plow first. Plow is where you roll up, keeping the legs straight, toes touch overhead, hands are extended out, palms face down. So that's one option for getting some spinal traction. Or you can deepen into snail, which is just bending the knees, allowing the knees, this is hard to demonstrate and talk about at the same time, allowing the knees to fall alongside the ears. So whatever option you're going for today, just breathe. Holding here for one more minute. Breath in and slow breath out, releasing out of whatever shape you've chosen. If you've got support under your pelvis, remove that support now. We'll do one final shape, which is happy baby. So you have options here as well. full expression of the posture is to reach up, grab the outer edges of your feet, and then drawing the knees wide. Soles of the feet are reaching for the sky as the knees draw down, and endeavoring to have the full length of the spine in contact with the mat, knowing that that might not be present for you today, but just imagining that happening if you're not there yet. If this is too intense for you, you can always keep the knees bent and create like a butterfly shape with the legs, just a reclined butterfly. Same benefit, either posture. So just breathe. We'll hold this for 2 minutes. Steady breath, relaxing the face, relaxing the eyeballs, the jaw, the tongue. Big breath in. Slow, steady exhale. As you're ready, you can release the legs. Extending the legs along the mat, taking the feet as wide as the mat, taking your arms wide, palms face up. Relaxing into your Shavasana. Just finding some stillness in your reclined posture. Let it all go. Allow the breath to soften. Allowing the breath to be just exactly as it is. Allowing the body to fully surrender. Becoming heavy. With each breath, becoming more and more heavy. The eyes closed, just close them again, deeper within. as you move through this next week, I invite you to pay particular attention to where your mind automatically goes, and to perhaps intentionally notice when something positive happens. Could be as simple as a friend reaching out to say hello, or snuggles from your dog, or noticing the texture of sunlight through apricot blossoms. Practice spending more time with these moments that bring you even the smallest taste of peace, of joy, of wonder. And practice allowing those moments to have more presence in your mind, more presence in your body. And notice that if the more you pay attention to them, perhaps the more they seem to happen, the more possibilities present themselves. I'll also suggest that if you can, get outside this week. It doesn't have to be a 10-mile hike or run. It can be as simple as a walk around the block, or taking a few minutes to sit in your backyard. But I find, and maybe you do too, that when I surround myself with nature, my ability to see and take note of these moments, these tiny moments of joy, of possibility, of wonder, are so much more tangible and readily available. So I'll leave you today with a poem that I often come back to over and over again in my life. It's particularly in times where it's easy to forget to slow down. It's easy to forget to notice when the good things are happening. It's a poem called When I Am Among the Trees by Mary Oliver. When I am among the trees, especially the willows and the honey locust, equally the beech, the oaks and the pines, they give off such hints of gladness. I would say almost that they save me, and daily. I'm so distant in the hope of myself, in which I have goodness and discernment, and never hurry through the world, but walk slowly and bow often. Around me, the trees stir in their leaves and call out, "Stay a while." The light flows from their branches, and they call again. "It's simple," they say, "and you too have come into the world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light, and to shine." So thank you guys for joining me, for joining each other in Mobility Lab this morning. Have a wonderful week. I hope you have a chance to walk slowly and bow often. Lots of love, you guys. Later.